Romeo and Juliet short story. The bloody streets of Verona. 4 years, a bitter feud raged between the powerful Capulet and Montague families in Verona. It was a rivalry so deep that even a chance encounter on the street led to immediate bloodshed. The masked intruder. One night, Lord Capulet hosted a grand banquet. Romeo, a Montague, risked his life to attend, hidden behind a mask. He went seeking his unrequited love, Rosalind, but fate had a different plan. Love at first sight. Amidst the music and dancing, Romeo's eyes fell upon a lady of such perfection that she outshone every light in the room. In that instant he forgot Rosalind. He was captivated. He was lost. The enemy's secret. Under the cover of his mask, Romeo spoke flattering words and touched her hand. But the joy was short-lived. He soon realized she was Juliet, the daughter of his greatest enemy. Juliet felt the same sting. My only love sprung from my only hate. The balcony under the stars. At midnight, Romeo climbed the garden walls, unable to stay away. Juliet appeared at the window, her beauty lighting up the dark world. She sighed, "Oh, and Romeo, hidden in the shadows, whispered, "Speak, my shining angel." The secret confession. Believing she was alone under the night sky, Juliet's heart overflowed with the passion of their first meeting. She called out into the darkness, "Oh, Romeo, Romeo, why must you be Romeo? Deny your father and refuse your name. Or if you will not, just swear you love me, and I'll no longer be a Capulet." The dangerous pledge. Romeo could resist no longer. He emerged from the shadows, promising to take a new name if it pleased her. Juliet was startled to find a man in her garden, but she quickly recognized the voice of her love. She warned him, if her kinsmen saw him they would kill him. Love versus death. Romeo replied with fervent passion, "Alas, there is more danger in your eyes than in 20 of their swords. Look upon me kindly, and I am proof against their enmity. It is better that my life be ended by their hate, than that death come slowly without your love." The hasty plan. Juliet blushed, realizing he had heard her secret confession of love. She wanted to play the coy game of courtship, but it was too late. Suddenly, her nurse called from inside. Their time was cut short. Hurriedly, Juliet promised to send a messenger tomorrow. If his intentions were honorable, they would marry. They parted reluctantly. The secret wedding. Romeo, too sleepless for bed, rushed to Friar Lawrence. The friar agreed to marry them quickly, hoping this union might finally end the bitter feud between the Capulets and Montagues. That very morning, via a secret messenger, plans were made. Romeo and Juliet became husband and wife. The tragedy strikes. But their joy was fleeting. That same afternoon, Tybalt, still seeking revenge for the banquet, cornered Romeo's friends. Tybalt killed Mercutio. Blinded by grief and rage at his friend's death, Romeo lost control and killed Tybalt. The banishment. Deadly violence in the streets of Verona demanded justice. The prince issued a terrible decree. Romeo was banished forever. For Juliet, the news was devastating. She had just married her love, and now he was exiled from her arms, perhaps forever. Tears of conflict at first. Juliet was blinded by anger at Romeo for killing her cousin, but that fire soon turned into tears of relief. Joy that Romeo lived, followed by the crushing sorrow of his banishment. To her, banished sounded like the end of the world. The Mantua plan hidden with Friar Lawrence. A broken Romeo found a small spark of hope. The friar's plan was simple. Stay in Mantua until the marriage could be safely announced and a pardon secured. After one last, breathless night together, the lovers parted at dawn, their hearts heavy with a tragedy they could already feel approaching. A father's command, the tragedy deepened when Lord Capulet ordered Juliet to marry Count Paris, a wealthy, noble suitor. Desperate, Juliet turned to the friar again. She told him she would rather be buried alive than be a bride to another while Romeo lived. The 42-hour sleep, the friar proposed a terrifying gamble, a potion that would mimic death for 42 hours. Juliet would be placed in the family tomb, and Romeo would rescue her. Driven by love, she swallowed her fear and the poison. On what should have been her wedding morning, Paris found a lifeless bride, and the celebration turned into a funeral. The fatal messenger, but fate is cruel. The duel with Paris, Count Paris stood in his way. Romeo warned him to stay back, but Paris refused to listen and met his end. Realizing who he had killed, Romeo moved the body into the tomb, offering his enemy a final, decent burial. Romeo's sacrifice. Romeo walked to his wife's side. He looked at her unmatched beauty one last time and kissed her soft lips before drinking the poison. His was a forever sleep, just as Juliet's 42-hour slumber was coming to an end. The awakening, the friar arrived to find a scene of blood and steel. Before he could grasp the horror, Juliet woke, immediately calling for her Romeo. Startled by the approaching guards, the friar fled in fear, leaving Juliet alone with her grief. The final union. Juliet saw the cup in Romeo's hand and knew the truth. Finding no poison left for her, she kissed his warm lips, took his sword and stabbed herself to death. In that dark monument they finally died side by side. The bitter peace, the Capulets and Montagues arrived to find their children dead. In the shadow of tragedy they finally made peace. The Montagues built a golden statue for Juliet, and the Capulets built one for Romeo, monuments to a love that ended a war.